UNIFHY is a collaborative project funded by the European Community's 7th Framework Programme within the Fuel Cells and Hydrogen Joint Technology Initiative. The project lasting 43 months, started in September 2012 and has a budget of more than €3,400,000. The UNIFHY Consortium comprehends 9 organizations from industry, research and academia. UNIFHY develops a continuous, cost-competitive and sustainable process to produce pure hydrogen from biomass. UNIFHY integrates biomass gasification with catalytic hot gas cleaning, low-pressure water gas shift performed within catalysts, pressure swing absorption for hydrogen separation, and high thermal integration and efficiency by means of utilization of hydrogen-depleted syngas within the conversion process. During the entire project's lifetime, an effective and efficient management of the consortium was ensured by the former project's coordinator, Chip Sapienza, and the replacing coordinator, Marconi University, to ensure an adequate administrative support, monitoring the progress of activities and negotiating critical steps with all partners and FCH officers. A variety of biomass feedstocks have been characterized with respect to ultimate and proximate analysis, heating value and inorganic elements. On the basis of bulk density and cost of supply, almond shells appeared to be the biomass most suitable. In fact, it has an adequate bulk density, is relatively cheap, and with a content of sulfur and chlorine representative for many biomass feedstocks. Experimental gasification rigs with different capacity were used to test catalysts, sorbents, and filtration candles, so that standard characterization data such as sorption capacity and catalyst reactivity were compared with the behavior performed at real process conditions. The test campaign included 17 tests performed using 3 different types of filters hosted in the freeboard of the reactor vessel. The performance of a variety of catalytic filter candles when employed in a steam biomass gasification reactor freeboard has been assessed. The experimental campaign has clearly showed that the most interesting results are related to the use of catalytic filter integrated with catalytic foam. In relation to other filters, higher percentage of hydrogen, smaller percentage of methane, higher water conversion, smaller content of ammonia and tar have been observed in syngas. On the other hand, the test stressed out the influence on the gasification process of the edge of olivine bed. Different wet gas compositions have been conditioned and upgraded to yield fuel cell grade hydrogen. Verification tests regarding the upgrading efficiency in terms of yield at a specified purity and the validation of Haiger's in-house PSA model has been assessed. Moreover, the PSA model was validated and agreed with the experiments and was used to define the design parameters for the PPS. An innovative catalytic system has been specifically developed for water gas shift reaction to prevent pressure drag along the process and to increase the efficiency of the gas-solid contact. All catalysts were supported on ceramic foams. The aluminum foams with different porosities have been chosen to support materials for catalytic applications. About 150 ceramic aluminum foams have been impregnated with cerium oxides to increase their specific surface area and iron and copper catalysts to test the water gas shift performance. Reactivity tests have been assessed. Best results were observed with H2O per CO ratio of 2, temperature of 450 centigrades to 550 centigrades, residence time of 1 to 1.5. To allow second the water gas shift reaction, remove the possible coke and avoid the reduction of the catalyst. Strasbourg University has developed specific innovative catalytic systems for high and low temperature water gas shift reaction. These catalysts consist of iron or copper supported on ceramic foams to be used at 450 or 250 centigrades respectively after the gasification reactor to increase the hydrogen production. This deliverable aimed to study calcium-based CO2 sorbents and bifunctional materials using different synthesis methods, hydrothermal, CO precipitation, and wet mixing. The most important features of the materials, like their structures, morphology, and textural properties, were analyzed by different characterization methods by means of specific surface area and pore distribution volume, microscopy, and X-ray and diffraction analysis. In particular, myenite, a ceramic stabilizing support for high-temperature sorbents, is not only an efficient binder, but also showed catalytic properties in hydrocarbon reforming and cracking. CO2 sorption tests have been assessed on the material realized in the previous phase in order to identify the sorbent with the best CO2 capture performances. Also, the tar steam reforming was treated. Solid bifunctional sorbent catalysts were developed to perform catalytic steam reforming of tar at the outlet of gasifier and simultaneously remove CO2, increasing the hydrogen production. The third work package focused on the design and development of PSA and wire gas shift unit. It also provided the engineering and construction of the portable purification system, which includes PSA, wire gas shift, and complementary components. In particular, this deliverable relates to the design and construction of the PSA vessel section. Also, the PSA system design parameters and the piping and instrumentation diagram are presented. Based on results reported in deliverable 2.3, Haiger's in-house PSA model was validated and was found to agree with the experiments. Next step in development of the PSA was to use the PSA model to define the system design parameters for the PPS unit. This deliverable relates to the design and construction of the LT wire gas shift reactor implementing catalytic copper-coated ceramic foams. Reactor dimensions were defined based on lab-scale testing performed by Strasbourg University and pressure drop evaluation performed by Paul. Strasbourg University has performed lab-scale tests to evaluate the influence of varying water concentration, residence time, number of pores, and/or temperature on catalytic activity of high temperature and low temperature wire gas shift catalysts. The Transportable Purification Unit, or PPS, consists of the integrated wire gas shift reactor, compressor, and gas upgrading unit, has been set up to advance low hydrogen-containing syngas. Container adaptations, electronic cabinet, interface panel, and the compressor ventilator outlet are shown. After final assembly, the PPS was leak and pressure tested and was successfully PD approved by the notified body. The work package 4, dealing with the use of different feedstock and optimized catalytic filter candles in the UNIFHY 100 kW thermal gasifier, tested the feasibility of the process of pilot scale. These tests assess the feasibility of UNIFHY by using a double fluidized bed steam and air gasification technology. New ceramic filter candles for high-temperature applications selected within Work Package 2 has been tested under reducing gasifier into the UNIFHY 100 kW thermal gasifier at chips in Civitavecchia. Tests carried out show the UNIFHY 100 gasifier installation in Civitavecchia has been developed up to the operational stage. Tests with only steam and steam plus air were carried out with 100 kW thermal prototype. The syngas composition from the steam tests still contained a percentage of nitrogen. Furthermore, the tar content was still too high, and this caused difficulty reaching and maintaining the operating temperature during the tests. The structure changes apparently were not enough to solve the major issues of the gasification system, so was elaborated a new reactor design characterized by new geometry and features. Further tests of the overall duration of 15 hours were carried out with 100 kW thermal pilot plant gasifier operated with air and steam in dual fluidized bed mode. Tests were carried out at 770 centigrades using a steam to biomass ratio equal to 0.5. The biomass used during the test was almond shell. The composition or concentration in terms of hydrogen, CO, CO2, CH4, and tar was analyzed with different devices. The issues already stressed in deliverable 4.2 led to a new design of the gasifier. Double fluidized bed was realized in scale in order to generate a cold model in which the fluidization conditions and the recirculation of material could be verified and improved. In order to verify the circulation in the cold model, some tests were carried out using PTV analysis. A CCD camera with high velocity and resolution was used for this scope. It was possible to evaluate the average velocity of the outgoing particles during time and to calculate the solid circulation flow rate in the gasifier, with results higher than required. Once verified the new configuration, the realization and assembling real gasifier could start. During the Work Package 5, the portable purification station has been integrated into a side stream of 1000 kW thermal gasifier to demonstrate the operation of the system at industrial gasification scale. In particular, in deliverable 5.1, experimental test campaign with the gasifier in its original configuration were performed in order to collect data on performance of 1000 kW thermal pilot plant in the basic configuration, internally circulating bubbling fluidized bed. The tests were carried out in order to acquire data of reference to be used in the comparison with the gasifier in the advanced configuration. An important goal of this activity was the identification of the process conditions at which ceramic filter system has to operate and guarantee a proper particle filtration, reforming of tar and light hydrocarbons. These experimental activities were intended to check the efficiency of solid particle filtration and the effectiveness of the gas cleaning in the upgraded gasifier version with 60 ceramic filter candles inserted in the freeboard for several hours of operation. A first test campaign was carried out using non-catalytic filter candles for evaluation of optimal parameter and the effectiveness of filtration system. The second test campaign was instead performed with a catalytic filter system. In view of experimental campaign with the gasifier coupled to the portable purification system, two new piping lines at high temperature were realized. The coupling of PPS with the gasification plant was jointly defined by Higir and ENA. The coupling of gasifier with PPS was successful. The system was proven to be operable stably and continuous in experimental run lasting more than 12 hours. At the end of the whole process, hydrogen production at concentration of 99.99% with a 66% hydrogen yield was achieved. Results of the test campaigns shows that high purity hydrogen could be obtained by UNIFHY system. But tar still remains bottleneck of the process as the catalytic filter candles were not installed in the gasifier. Also, a techno-economic analysis of the two UNIFHY prototypes were performed. It involved the assessment of the technical performance at the component and global level of the systems. Results also showed that the cost of personnel and PPU are the largest one in two considered configurations. Also, a sensitivity analysis was carried out on indirectly heated configuration, varying the steam to biomass ratio and size of the plant at the best operating temperature. The objective of this task was kinetic study of the complex heterogeneous reactions taking place during the water-gas shift reaction in presence of catalytic ferrous and copper foams. The main aim was to propose a kinetic model of the reactions in the higher and lower temperature water-gas shift reactors and determine the kinetic parameters in presence of these developed catalysts. This study has permitted to establish two power law rates for the high and low temperature water-gas shift reaction. In this deliverable, hydrodynamics and kinetics interacting in the fluidized bed reactor has been developed. A two-phase model has been implemented in order to predict the dynamics of a fluidized bed reactor, where the production of hydrogen by steam methane reforming and CO2 uptake occur simultaneously. Method of lines was used to solve the PDEs governing the dimension, and time-dependent model developed. Good agreement between experimental data and numerical results has been obtained. CFD model was developed to allow simulation of the catalytic filter candles integrated in the reactor freeboard. The activity of the filters has been analyzed by studying the trends of temperature, gas velocity, tar, and methane conversion through the filter candles. The kinetics of the chemical reactions inserted in the model were taken from literature. The model was validated by comparing the simulation outputs with experimental results of tests on a bench-scale gasifier containing a ceramic catalytic filter. The entire UNIFHY system has been simulated on the basis of experimental results within the project. Models of the dual fluidized bed steam gasifier, catalytic filter candles, zinc oxide guard bed, low-temperature wire gas shift reactor, and PSA have been developed. Different values of steam to biomass ratio, wire gas shift residence time, and operating temperature have been considered. The comparison between the simulated and experimental data showed that the model predicts gas composition and product yields with a very good accuracy. Global simulations were carried out for the two different configurations, dual fluidized bed and steam and oxygen fluidized bed gasifier. Furthermore, a sensitivity analysis for the dual fluidized bed system was carried out, varying different parameters. Also, an evaluation of electrical consumptions in order to determine which are the best configuration and conditions, even from an energetic point of view, was carried out. The life cycle assessment has been developed for the UNIFHY model 1000 kW thermal as well as for the 100 kW thermal. The UNIFHY models have been defined in Gabi software by using the data collected from the project partners, life cycle assessment databases, and data from literature. Impact categories considered have been defined according to the fuel cell hydrogen guide as listed below: global warming potential, acidification potential, eutrophication potential, and photochemical ozone creation potential. All partners actively involved in dissemination and exploitation activities. UNIFHY objectives and results advertised through the creation of a dedicated website, the publication of around 30 articles, the participation in international conferences, and the production of newsletters. The transfer of knowledge and technology among research institutions and industrial companies was carried out through a detailed exploitation business report focused on the social and economic potentialities of the green hydrogen market. The partners are also involved in patent submission in order to protect the most innovative results. Commercial promotion was carried out by participating in international fairs and addressing commercial presentations to key customers and institutions. Media campaigns were developed for a general purpose target and also within a variety of business sectors.